You all know the feeling, you're extremely far ahead, and then you just make one mistake and you immediately lose the game. This is very common in players trying to climb in League of Legends, and I see this every day in my coaching sessions. So in this video, I'm going to teach you guys exactly the frameworks and the systems that you need to fix these positions and make sure that they never happen in your game again. So we're going to use an example from a student that I coached today, in which city he's playing Akali. The team just got Baron. He's insanely far ahead, very strong. He tries to push out the bot lane wave just before Dragon to force people to respond and create a better fight, but he actually gets collapsed upon and he dies. Now this is of course very tragic because that means that they do not get access to the soul and the game becomes way harder and eventually this leads into a loss. Now, how do we prevent these type of situations from happening? Of course, during the game, he gets a little bit frustrated. He's like, why does this happen? My team's pushing out mid. There's no vision for the dragon. What's exactly going on? He even pings the Alistar out of frustration. Happens to the best of us. And this makes it very hard to take practical learnings from this. So whenever a situation like this happens, you need to use the reverse engineering method. Okay? And this reverse engineering method is going to allow you to see and visualize the mistakes that you make. And then you can see each type of position like a bit of a puzzle and solve them. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what that looks like. Now, in this specific position, we know that something went bad the moment we died. And we can use this death in the review as a benchmark, okay? And benchmarking is very powerful because it can allow you to go back to the review and re-visualize certain positions that felt awkward, that felt off, and then you can get a lot of improvement out of that. So in this case, we go back to the last big lull state, which is downtime in the game. In this case, his deployment from the base to bot lane is a big lull state. And we can then go back into what were we actually thinking and make any tweaks and changes towards our thought process or understanding of the game. In this specific case, he was thinking about the dragon. He was communicating on the way onto the dragon. So he knew that with the soul coming up, dragon was the play that he wanted to go for. And his thought process was, okay, great. I'm then going to go to bot, push out bot, force someone to respond, and see if I can get on a flank angle, which is a good mindset to begin with. There's just a small problem in the execution. In this specific case, he cannot go bot. Why can he not go bot? Because the fact of the matter is that his team is not on the same tempo as him. His Nocturne is still farming topside, his team is just deploying into mid, and his Garen just pushed out the top wave condition. So that means that his entire team is playing on this wave state, then needs to get vision, and he is already trying to play right here without any vision when the enemies just came back after getting killed while we also took the Baron. So our team is down on tempo. He didn't recognize that, and that's why he got collapsed upon, which led to the Drake being lost. Now, what should he have done instead of moving into bot? Well, with how far ahead that we actually are, we don't need to move bot at all. What we can do is we can actually open up through mid right now. And then we can sync up with the team, move in together, link up with the Alistar, link up with the Varus, move in together into the bot side of the map, which is then going to allow us to get vision control together without the risk of us getting caught off guard. And with Victor being dead, us being in a 5v4 position, stronger than the enemies, grouped up, we are always going to be able to just hard engage and get free access towards this Drake. This is the specific solution. Now, the only way to get to that conclusion is by also having the mindset of that your initial play was not the correct play to go about it. So you cannot have the ego and say, I made the correct play and my teammates inted me. There might be some situations where that's the case, but the truth is that doesn't really matter because we're going to try to learn from these positions. So the specific question that you have to ask yourself in these type of situations is, what could I have done better that would have led to a different outcome of the situation? If you can ask yourself that question, you can reverse engineer and solve the puzzle. The mid game in League of Legends, it's like 1,000 individual puzzles combined. And you want to see if you can solve these puzzles one by one by one by one by one. And every single one of these plays, deployments, macro calls is one of these puzzles that you need to fix. So this is one of them. And the fun part is that there is actually many solutions to fixing the puzzle. In this case, opening up true mid would have been a solution. Another solution would have been to maybe not use his W while clearing the wave. Another solution would maybe be better quality communication. So his team would change his tempo and they would maybe be able to back him up. Maybe Nocturne could hover him and then this wouldn't be legal. Maybe the Alistar could also deploy True Bolt, hover him. There's multiple solutions to a specific puzzle like that. Of course, the most consistent one is him deploying True Mid. But let's see what happens after this specific situation, right? He is dead, and this is why one play can lose the game. He is dead, his team now takes the fight in a 5v4, they lose the dragon, and now the game tempo is completely cooked. So him dying, actually, even though that was this single mistake, didn't lose the game. Him dying was actually the catalyst, the domino effect of his team falling over. What happens if he doesn't ping the Alistar and actually pings off the dragon and tells the team to actually cross-map into topside, just get all the topside resources, just drop the Drake, don't fight it. They can still siege with Bear and the game is not lost. So you see that there's many layers to a puzzle as well. And there is not just one solution. But as long as you can just find one solution yourself and ask yourself, what could I have done better that would change the outcome of the situation? Either the communication or the deployment itself. You are learning and you are improving. And this is how you fix situations like this, because you can then visualize the solution. And by visualizing the solution, in future games, you're going to see the exact same patterns pop up, which will allow you to recognize the same patterns, deploy that pattern recognition, and that will allow you to improve.